We didn't get much snow in January. This is February now. But it was my birthday month, so I celebrated my birthday by getting a new tattoo and going used book shopping. We went out to a show at Free Cycles and started on a project making curtains for our living room. And of course, I read some books. So here's what that's like. Sunday morning, and it's time for a new book. Sit right here by my unread books, my little home library. Try out a few, see what mood I'm in. Some of these I've had for a little while, some I got more recently, and I'm really excited about. I think I'm most excited for Tomb of Sand, or maybe this N.K. Jemisin. Also thinking about Lucy a lot lately. Maybe Bad Cree. This is such a cool edition. It's this old library discard covered in that old crinkly plastic and still has some old stamps from 1990. Jan made me this incredible chocolate cake, so we ate dessert first and then went out to dinner, a fancy little dinner in town, and rode our bikes over to Free Cycles for the winter ball. There was tons of people, rockin' music, chill fire to hang out at, late night garlic bread, what the heck? At our favorite dog park. Look at me. I talked about making stuff and mending stuff last video, and I'm back at it. I'm working on making a set of curtains from some old bed sheets I got at Goodwill. This first half of the project was super easy. I basically just cut the sheet in half and poorly hemmed the edges. Now I just need to go in and line them with another set of sheets that I have. I just finished Lucy by Jamaica Kincaid. This is such a clever, funny, disarming story from the point of view of a 19-year-old Black woman from the West Indies who has emigrated to the U.S. to be an au pair for a middle upper class white family. This is a story about finding yourself as a young woman in the world far away from home, about elitism and colonialism and privilege. And Jamaica Kincaid just captures all of that so incredibly concisely and in a very attainable and readable way. Lucy has become one of my favorite characters in any book. She's so funny and sarcastic. She can be quite blunt and fierce, and I love and really admire her fearlessness and honesty. Not only is she asking, how do people become who they are, but she asks, what does it mean to be a woman, and what does it mean to be a Black woman in a society where you're viewed as a womb and a caretaker, and often as less than. For me, I found it especially relatable that she's finding herself through this self-driven independence and autonomy that she's reaching for. Leaving home, traveling across the world, being put in uncomfortable situations, and figuring out who she is through that all.
Look at this line. I love her. I love Jamaica Kincaid. Another book I read this month is Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shree. This book is translated into English from Hindi, and it's about an 80-year-old woman who is in a deep depression after the death of her husband, and she eventually comes out of it and finds a new lease on life and starts to buck convention and cultural restraints.
I've been reading Tomb of Sand for a little under a month, and that is the longest it's ever taken me to read a book. I think, one, I've been really trying to give it the attention that it deserves, and two, I've been having a lot of fun making little videos about my life, and so that's been taking a lot of my hobby time away from reading. The writing in this book is so unique. I've never read another book like this. Shree's writing style brings so much life to small, seemingly meaningless things in life, like mundane objects or personal characteristics. But she also takes big things like culture, tradition, depression, retirement, major life changes, and puts them in a bouncy house. It pokes fun at things that take themselves too seriously, and she adds a lot of frivolity and whimsy into everyday life and things that we otherwise might stress about. Shree also takes care to give all of these things the attention they deserve in this incredibly wondrous, descriptive, philosophical writing. The first part of this book, maybe the first 130 or 140 pages, was really difficult for me to follow and took me the most time to wrap my head around and really allow myself to become immersed in. Because she wanders. I had trouble keeping up from time to time, but I'm really glad I did because I started to notice patterns and themes in her writing, and a lot of it makes you slow down and think. And those are my favorite kind of books. In the second part of the story, which I just finished, we really start to dive into identity and female identity in the Indian culture from the point of view of an 80-year-old woman and also her daughter, so two different generations. And the grandma, the 80-year-old woman, also has sparked what seems like a new friendship with a trans person who, through this book, I've actually found out that Hijra, if that is the correct pronunciation and correct word, is actually a third gender recognized by the Indian government, which I think is really cool. It seems from the book that it's not necessarily a concept or a group of people that are super culturally accepted, and I hope we explore that more. And just like Lucy, we're really asking questions like, what does it really take to be independent and to pursue individual happiness when for so long, in the grandmother's case, her role was caretaker for everyone in her life, and now they're all taking care of her, but she's really wanting greater independence, and developing this sense of individualistic self. And these are really fun themes for me to explore. I feel like as I get older, I think more and more about how I'm growing and changing and what are the things that I want out of life and how can I get them. I really connected with this passage yesterday. Sounds of peace. The scritch-scritch of the broom on the street, the newspaper man's sandals running, the smack of the newspaper dropping. I was reading this passage as Jan was making breakfast, and I just felt inspired to write my own sounds of peace. It made me feel very comfortable, and it really made me appreciate the small sounds of living with Jan and Doug and just being alive in general. And that's that. I feel like I have so much more to say about each of these books, and I'm not even done with Tomb of Sand yet. I think it's interesting that I was drawn to these two completely different, yet both quite profound books that are centering the experiences of women from all different generations and different cultures as they become empowered and start to develop their own sense of identity. Each book has a pretty distinct style, but both Jamaica Kincaid and Gitanjali Shree are incredibly beautiful writers. Maybe I'll make a video just talking about books one day. I would love to think more about each of these stories and their themes. Until then, bye!